Hello there, I'm Roderick, and in this video I will be sharing about my final project composition titled Back to Our Roots. Here is the brief overview of my presentation. I'll first go into the motivation behind the piece, before discussing the basic building blocks of my composition and the details of each section. I'll end the video with a full recording together with the annotated score. The main goal behind Back to Our Roots is to encourage listeners to reflect back on their past experiences to regain the passions they once had. In the stressful and fast-paced lifestyles we live today, it is easy to burn out and lose sight of what we want to accomplish. Going back to our roots can help us rediscover our dreams and find a better sense of purpose for what we are doing. My composition was built using the fifth motif. I augmented the motif by 2 beats to fit the 5/4 time signature. I then continued to scale the melody downwards to form the entire basic idea. This basic idea is then repeated a third lower, forming the entire presentation of the sentence. The continuation of the sentence is formed with another sequence and another phrase, and with that, the entire theme has been formed. Let's have a listen to the basic theme in full. Moving on to harmony, the overarching chord progression that I used was the Romanesca. This is used again and again throughout the entire piece, but is especially apparent in Variation 3, where there are no chords added in between. Let's have a listen. Now, let's take a deeper look into the form of my piece. I named it the so-called reverse theme and variations form, as the music actually decreases in complexity with each variation, as opposed to increasing in complexity usually. This helps to bring out the programmatic side of the composition, where we traverse from adulthood to adolescence to childhood to returning to the present with each variation. The simpler textures and density of notes help to bring out the idea of simpler times when we were younger. Before diving into the individual sections of the piece, I would like to discuss the meter used. The piece is generally in 5/4 time, subdivided into beats of 3 and 2, which provides a sense of jerkiness, symbolizing the uneasiness we have in these trying times. It can also be seen as a 6/4 meter with the last beat truncated, which provides a rhythmic impetus to push the music to the next bar. Let's listen to the effect of the 5/4 meter in this short excerpt. Now I'll discuss each of the sections individually in greater detail. The goal of the first section is to evoke the tumultuous and stressful mood in adulthood. I tried to take inspiration from Indonesian gamelan and use the stratified polyphony texture here, where multiple voices move at different but closely related levels of rhythmic activity. The violins playing the melody move at twice the rate of the violas, and the violas move at twice the rate of the cellos. This symbolizes the multitude of viewpoints we have to consider in this VUCA world, or that everyone is moving at their own rates in life. Many chromatic chords are used to add complexity to the harmonic layer. Let's listen to a short excerpt of this section. Variation 1, the Adolescent stage. I tried to evoke a sense of apprehensiveness in this section by opting to accompany the cello with a jittery staccato figuration played by the violin. The violin accompaniment in the later half of the section gives rise to polyrhythm, which gives an interlocking feeling similar to how adolescents are always trying to fit into social groups. However, there are still much less worries and responsibilities in this adolescent stage, represented by the slower harmonic rhythm. Let's listen to the staccato accompaniment and polyrhythm by the violins in action. The childhood stage, the happiest and most playful section of the piece. Most notably, the key changes to the parallel major, C major, which helps to evoke a bright mood. There are also many other musical details that help to contribute to this, which includes the increased tempo and the bouncy pizzicato in the cello. The call and response between the violin and viola are also reminiscent of children having fun together. Let's hear it. Finally, we have come to the last variation, returning to the present. This section is supposed to symbolize growth, reflection, and nostalgia. Modulating back to the home key and returning to the original tempo gives a sense of returning home. Changing the meter to 4/4 and using an extremely simple texture also symbolizes clarity after reflection. Now let's hear it all come together in the full recording. Hope you enjoyed the presentation and happy listening!